Tony D and Little Joan with a Screenwriter's Rant on We Were Dangerous, a drama movie that takes place in 1954 about an island of delinquent girls where they try to help them, but really everybody who runs the school is a terrible person, and the girls know better. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Heart in South Jersey. It's the Pineys from the producers of Joe Rabbit, this movie. Books 1 through 14 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. All right. So, it's another movie about rebellion and culture and the stiffs. They won't let these girls live the way they want to live, and they don't understand. A joyous and triumphant story of rebellion according to Cultural Lecture. Coming soon, We Are Dangerous. Directed by Josephine Stewart T. Too. Written by Maddie Day. Additional writing by Josephine Stewart T. This is in New Zealand. And I thought this was in New Zealand because it was in an island and it was kind of sort of semi-tropical. So, yeah. It's weird, right? Because, didn't the Kiwis just spend not too long ago locking down their own people and forcing a medical procedure on them? And now here they are with a movie about teenage girls that are trapped on an island, locked down, and they rebel against it, and we're supposed to think they're the heroes. So maybe it mirrors that. It should. I mean, it should have some sort of tie-in to the modern day in that respect. It should have a message of authoritarianism is bad. And it sort of does, but I feel like this dynamic is always put in place for one reason. So you can have the rebels, and you could have sort of the fight against the man. In this case, the man is this matron, and the hypocrisy of the system, which we all need to know. We all know we need to tear it down. So it feels like communism more than it feels like a metaphor against the dangers of locking down your population. And that's sad. But that dynamic, I think, is a dynamic not only chased in Hollywood, but chased by independent filmmakers, because they're taught in a school system which teaches them this is the good dynamic. Every problem in the world goes back to religion and the establishment and the man, which, the part about the establishment isn't necessarily untrue. The problem is who these people tend to focus on, who the establishment is. This is why they go back to 1954. Because in 1954 and times past, it was more of a conservative establishment with traditional values. And now they're all gone, or on the ropes, I'll say. And so they have to go back to the 50s every time. Like if you did this story today in New Zealand, who would it be against? Probably that wacky prime minister who ran things during the pandemic like a friggin' Stalinist a-hole. So, yeah, movie makers just seem to be trapped in this dynamic and trapped in a certain era. Because I've seen this movie like a million times, and it's almost always with girls. It's almost always with girls. Like, oh, girls, they won't let the girls do what they want. Just because you're young and female Doesn't mean you know everything. I know, shocker, right? It needs, a movie like this, if you're actually going to do a movie like this and it's a drama and it's supposed to be sort of close to the truth of what that was like, it would need to be more balanced in that it would show that some of these girls are messed up. Because in 1954, they would have just dumped their problems on this island. Now, part of the plot of the movie is one of the girls gets pregnant, and obviously, since they're isolated on an island, who the F did that? And then it appears to be some sort of cover-up of the system. So I guess the mystery is who knocked her up. And why are they forcing an abortion on her, maybe? So first act, they come to the island, and the girls are wild and crazy, and they're going to straighten them out, and they need discipline. And then three of the girls form a strong bond, and they all have problems, and they share in that, but the matron doesn't understand. And then one of the girls is this bright light amongst them who sort of helps everybody feel better about themselves, but the matron doesn't like her and knocks her down, and she's the one who gets pregnant and then mysteriously disappears because the girls have no power. All the power is with the system. And then so in the second act they discover that, and then they're gonna, I don't know, spring her somehow and then escape the island. I think they're gonna steal a boat, and in the end, I don't know, it could go either way. Like, the way it would more realistically end, they would attempt to escape, but they would all get caught, and then, they would have some sort of emotional victory, but in the end, they would all get separated, and they'd all, one would go to jail, one dies, one goes off to live her life and write a book about it, and then we see her in the modern day or something. The happy ending is they just sort of escape on the boat, and they're free, and that's it. I don't know. It could kind of go either way. We were dangerous. That title's a little too big for the movie. I think it's a little too ambitious, but yeah. So 70 years ago, they had to go back 70 years to find this situation in order to sort of push this dynamic. Well, it is New Zealand. Maybe they're not allowed to do a movie about the certain medical situation there, because I don't think they have freedom of speech there. They certainly don't have as many freedoms as we do. So maybe somebody in the comments would know. Any Kiwis that know? So yeah, is it a good movie? Would I see it? I don't know. It seems to be well made. I like the cinematography. I'll say this: all the characters have their own voice. Although I think the matron's a bit two-dimensional. Some of the other characters, the men, appear to be incompetent. So I think it would be kind of watchable for this sort of genre if you're into it. I wouldn't watch it. It would be so far down on my list. I might, back in the day when I was going to art house movies, if my date picked this movie and there was nothing else, I'd be like, sure. But yeah, it definitely wouldn't be on the top of my list. So it's called We Were Dangerous. Stupid matron. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. If you can find a more base take, I say take it. Today we're going to do what we like to call here the live stream, where we do it live, and that starts at 7. So we're going to be talking about the box office. Exciting times at the box office today, because Inside Out 2 has done some business. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be going through the trades as always, and I'll be taking your little comments and reading them unless I get overwhelmed, in which case you're gonna have to throw me some money to get your comment on, I guess. I'm slowly reaching that point. Last week it was really tough to read all the comments. We had a lot of people, so get in early, get your comments in early. We're talking about movies at 7. See you on the live stream.